So if we were to pass each other in the street and I were to say, Jeff, I know you work with this company known as Oligoscan. What would you say you do, and what would you tell me about the tech?
I would say that I test for mineral deficiency and metal toxicity. And we're looking at one snapshot of the human body, and specifically minerals and metals, which are elements.
Yeah. And if we're looking at minerals and metals within the body, how are you doing that?
Yeah. So we're using spectrophotometry, which is light.
Mm-hmm.
So we're using the full spectrum of light, and we're shining that into the hand tissue. So 4 millimeters deep into the hand. So every metal and mineral is an element. Every element has this thing called an atomic emission spectra, and that's what it reflects light at. So that's what gives the element the color to the naked eye.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we're shining the light into the hand, and we're measuring how much light is reflected and absorbed to give us a better understanding of what minerals are bioavailable in the tissue for the body to use, and what metals have bioaccumulated over the course of one's life. Not last week, not last year, the whole life.
Yeah. And why tissue? Why is it important to look at the tissue within the body for metals and mineral balance?
Yeah. So the tissue is the destination, right? We use the hand for two reasons. One, it's the only place in the body where the pigment is the same across all races and ethnicities, so it's standardized. Two, it's a major excretion point. The 4 excretion points on the body are the hand, the feet, the scalp, and the underarm. So we're looking at the tissue, right? A blood test is looking at what's in circulation.
Mm-hmm.
As metals come into the body via food, water, air, the body's first defense is to push the metals from the blood to the peripheral tissue. You don't want high metal circulating in the bloodstream. The body wants to stay in homeostasis.
Mm-hmm.
So a blood test is looking at what's in circulation. A hair test is looking at what's been excreted via the hair in the past 90 days. It's an excretion test. Urine is either challenged or unchallenged test. We're using a chelator to provoke the body to release metals. So again, it's looking at what's in the urine, provoked or unprovoked. This test is a tissue test. So we're looking at what's accumulated in the tissue over the course of your life.
Yeah. And I think that's a theme that we often will address on the show, is that the body is bioregulatory.
Yeah.
It's doing the best it can to manage burden from the outside world. We looked at a really fascinating, you had a PDF up on your computer when we did my scan, which we'll talk about later, of chocolate and the levels of cadmium and lead in chocolate. And so if someone were to come up with elevated level of cadmium or lead or even a mercury, where do we look? Where do we look in the environment? And one of the common sources that I know I eat is I'm a chocolate fiend for the last few years. Especially in I've noticed in times of adrenal deficiency when I'm extra tired that a dark chocolate would do me right.
Yeah.
Getting me through the rest of the day with a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to live your life too, right? You can't stress yourself out over every little thing that, oh my gosh, this might be toxic. This might be toxic. The reality is there's toxins all around us every day. And I really like to remind people to focus on making sure that you're stimulating the body, you're exercising, you're sweating, you're stimulating the lymphatic system, you're active, you're making good choices. I think we just really need to get back to the basics, clean water, clean food, clean mind, not stressing ourselves out, being fun, not taking life too serious.
Yeah.
Not creating the stress. And if you are really stressed, then, maybe perhaps diving into that and understanding why, and maybe, you're in a job that doesn't serve you. Maybe you need to, reflect on that to get to something that would bring you more fulfillment in your life. But stress is number one, and stress will manifest in the test report, So it's a combination of everything. But cadmium I see high in a lot of people. It's the most common metal besides aluminum in people from the age of 15 to 40.
To dovetail onto chocolate for a minute, and so we can almost put a bow on that one.
Yeah.
What levels are we talking about when we say it's bad? Like in what percentage, in what excess, so people can understand when they are looking for a source of chocolate that they would like to imbibe or ingest.
Yeah.
What looks good, what look bad, and what are the levels we're talking about?
Well, the fact of the matter is that there's no safe level of lead and cadmium in the body. It's a heavy metal. There's no purpose for lead and cadmium in the body. So there's no safe level. That being said, there's better choices you can make regarding what chocolates have higher sources of lead and cadmium than lower. So I'd encourage everybody to go on a consumer reports, and look up you can easily find it with a Google search, chocolate cadmium lead consumer reports level, and, pick a brand that has the test lower for lead and cadmium. So just being, a smart consumer in that sense. But, chocolate also does have a lot of antioxidants. It is a superfood. So it's, in my opinion, it's just about maybe, not eating it every day, or picking a brand at least that is a little bit lower in lead and cadmium.
Yeah, great.